Hello everyone, welcome back. This is Raven, and today I'm going to be continuing on our horoscope readings, and I'm doing Taurus, Gemini, and Cancer. Now, as you can tell, we really aren't doing these in order. There were certain ones we wanted to do because we were more connected to them. So, I myself am a Gemini. I was born on the cusp, actually, on the 21st, a solstice baby. So I do have some Cancerian traits, but I'm really Gemini. I also, though, have a lot of Scorpio in my natal chart, which is probably why I get along with Cheese Whiz over there so well. So let's see. Yes, thank you. I know. That is your IQ in a nutshell.
That was good.
That was good. Okay, I got to give her that one. So, for the first one, we are going to be doing Taurus, the bull. Let's see what we've got for you coming up the first half of the year. So, for Taurus, we have the Fool in reverse. We have the Two of Coins upright. We have the Nine of Cups in reverse. We have the Eight of Wands in reverse. And we also have the Eight of Cups in the upright position. So, you Tauruses out there are really going to have a mixed bag the first part of the year. The first part of the year, you need to kind of play it safe. Don't try and start a whole lot of new business ventures. Don't try to, I'm not saying don't go with new ideas and whatnot, but again, you really want to play it safe. And with the Two of Coins in the upright, part of that is going to be financially as well. So if you play the stocks, if you do the CDs and the IRAs, is that right? And all those, which I really should be doing, but I don't. Kind of be careful. Don't take any major chances. Play penny stocks. Those things are awesome. And who would have known that Bitcoin would have taken off? We really should have gotten in on that. I think the next new thing that comes out, I'm going to get in on it when it's new. But for Tauruses, the first part of the year, I wouldn't do that. I would be very careful. Play your cards right. Keep things easy. With the Nine of Cups in reverse, it's not a great time to do any hardcore socializing either. I hate to say it, but you Tauruses are bulls in a china shop, and sometimes you can overpower people. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but a lot of you tend to be alphas, and I'm not saying males aren't, because they really are. Taurus males can be very alpha, but Taurus women can be hardcore alphas. So try to, especially with the Eight of Wands, tone back your boisterous nature if you can. Be careful how you approach people, what you say. And with the Eight of Cups in reverse, in the upright position, you're going to be walking away from a few things, but it's going to be good. It's going to be a long time in coming. Now, for those of you that are planning on starting a family, oh goodness, we have the King of Coins upright. We have the Nine of Swords in reverse. And we have the World upright. That is totally a mixed bag. I think the Spirit's going to be willing, but there's going to be other things that are going to get in the way. However, that will change. And especially if you've had some fertility problems, those towards the latter half of the first part of the year, those are actually going to change and get better. I would, I would try some out of the box medical ideas. For me, I did acupuncture and it worked like that for me. I went to the Jones Institute. I went to all kinds of things. And it's not that I couldn't get pregnant, because I got pregnant 3 times, but my body just didn't like it, and I kept developing uterine and cervical cancer when I got pregnant. But I went for my only child that was born, I went and had acupuncture. It worked like a charm. So for the fertility problems, I do see that getting better. But for some of you, like I said, the spirit is willing, but I just don't see it occurring. Now, for those of you thinking about starting new careers, this ain't good, people. You got the Star in reverse. You got the Magician, who is somebody that has everything they need to do what they need to do, but he's in reverse as well. And you have the Three of Swords in the upright position. I know. So, unfortunately, that job that you are going to try for, honey, you're not going to get it. And it's really, it's not that you wouldn't be good at it, but there is going to be somebody that is just going to be a little bit more qualified than you, and they're going to sweep it right out from under you. You are going to be in the top 3, but unfortunately, that's about as high as it's going to get. And like the disclaimer that we always use is, this is not for every single Taurus, but there's going to be at least 1 or 2 of you out there that are really going to go for this top level position, and unfortunately it's not going to occur. But don't get discouraged, because you got the second half of the year. This is only the first part. And like I said, 2020 is going to be a great year. I don't know if it's going to be great politically, but otherwise it's going to be pretty good. Health-wise, I don't see anything really representing bad health with this to begin with. But you got some pretty okay cards here. You've got the 6 of Cups in the upright position, and that looks really happy. You've got the Hangman in the upright position, and you have the Queen of Cups in reverse. So, it looks healthy. I think that some of you are going to get that just excited blush of youth that's going to hit you. Some others are, you're going to have to work a little bit harder health-wise this year, especially if you're trying to get more healthy and you're doing, what do they call them at the beginning of the year? People make these New Year's resolutions. Yeah. Don't do that. Just don't make a resolution. Just give an idea. Because some of you are going to start out real strong, and then you're going to go... and you're going to feel bad about yourself because you're going to make this resolution. Don't do that. Just say, this year I'm going to do my best to get more healthy. And I think that you will do fairly well. Relationship-wise, we didn't cover that one, did we?
No.
Emperor, the Swords, and the King of Swords. Here we've got the Emperor. And these are good Taurus cards too, the Emperor especially. The 2 of Swords in the upright, and we have the King of Swords in the upright. So for you gents out there, I think that relationships are going to be a pretty good strong go. You might even have a couple that you have to choose from. Ladies, I do see it strong as well, but make sure that you're not wearing blinders when it comes to relationships, because you are going to have some really strong male figures that are going to come your way, and don't let yourself get overwhelmed and run over with that. But it doesn't look bad all the way around with relationships. So that, I think I covered everything. That was Taurus in a nutshell. Doesn't look bad. actually is relatively positive for all you bulls out there and bullheaded people. So, I'm doing Gemini. I am a Gemini, and my mommy is a Gemini. She is the 14th Flag Day, and I am on the solstice, born on the cusp, which is when one ends and one begins. But I really am, I think, a classic Gemini. I do have some Cancerian traits as far as home and family goes, but I really am a Gemini. So what can we expect? Oh, we get the Tower. Isn't that fucking awesome? Lovers in reverse. Okay. Well, we've got the High Priestess in reverse. Got the Tower in the upright position, which means we're going to have some things shaking up life. We've got the Swords, the 8 of Swords in the upright. Maybe I should go with the Cancer reading. We've got the Lovers in reverse. And we have, but the saving grace is we have the Wheel of Fortune in the upright position. So, my fellow Geminis, you are going to have some spiritual changes coming up. We're going to be going through a bit of a dark night of the soul when it comes to our spirituality. And with the 8 of Swords, though, and this is an interesting card. She's kind of blindfolded, her hands are tied, but you can look at that as a couple of ways. She is got a bright light between those, so that bright light could be getting rid of all that. So I think that the changes that we have coming spiritually are actually going to lead to a deeper connection with our spirituality. For me, I am also true. And I'm very, very much in touch with that. And I think that this is going to be just more of a deep spiritual connection. But the Tower also represents other changes that are coming on. And as we know, there's 2 cards in the deck that represents change. One is the Death card, and that's normal, natural changes that occurs to everybody. And the other is the Tower card. And these changes are more difficult to control. But we do have a measure of control, like riding, like I think I've said this before, it's like riding a bicycle with a flat tire. You can do it if you have to, but who the hell wants to do it like that? With this, though, I'm really feeling that it's going to be us being more less rigid in how we think. Now, we Geminis are very much a duality. We are air and fire. We are thought and action.
And you are bull and shit.
And yeah, and you are dick and head. And I think this is part of us not being too rigid with our thoughts. Isn't she just a hoot? She's like fucking, well, I wouldn't know what it's like to have herpes, but I think she's kind of like that. She is something that no matter how hard you try, you're never going to get rid of. So give up. With the Lovers card
you just compared me to herpes.
I did.
What the fuck?
Well, I couldn't think of, well, I guess I should have gone hemorrhoids. You're a pain in the ass. But anyway, I love her. The Lovers in reverse. I think it's interesting that they use seagulls in this. Seagulls are in our area big time. These look like seagulls to me. I guess, yeah, they're seagulls, all right. Seagulls are all about mine, mine, mine. And one of the things that I have learned in relationships is that they are yours, but you have to give each other space to grow, to do their thing, to do your thing, and to be okay with that. You're not always going to agree 100% of the time, and that's okay. It's all about how you disagree. Carry that respect. That's part of because Geminis, you know, a lot of us are alphas. I'm an alpha female. I know I am, and I can be really when it comes to things. That's probably why I joined the Marine Corps. They told me I couldn't do it, so I'm like, yeah, I can, and I did. But we always go the hard way. And with the lovers as well, we learn the hard way. So give each other that space and have that mutual respect for the other person. But with the wheel here, that's a good thing. We've got old things that are going out the door and new ones that opens up new things to come in. And the Tower card, you know, it doesn't have to be a bad thing. Tower cards can be, and this is what I'm getting ready to go through again, it's a total purge. Get rid of what you don't need. Take it to Goodwill. Leave it on the front for somebody to pick up if they need it. And if you go and you buy something, if you buy one thing, get rid of 3 things. And try to use that rule of thumb.
Just a piece of advice. The harder you fight against the Tower, the worse it is.
The worse it is. And you can't ignore it. It will not go away. It's not smooth and natural like the Death card. These are not changes that are necessarily normal. And a lot of times they have to do with the total opposite of what we are. So, yeah, don't ignore that. Now, if you're expecting children or wanting children, yeah, this is a mixed bag. Got the 8 of Cups upright. You got the Death card in reverse. So, no change there. And you have the Hermit in reverse. Now, while we Geminis can be very social, the other half of us can be very withdrawn. So, with the Hermit in reverse, and I just happened to stick it on the Lover's card, you might have a tendency to want to be withdrawn, but that is one of the things that you need to change and kind of go out. And I'm not saying, you know, go out and just get knocked up for the sake of doing it, because you know, I don't see fertility really, and that kind of fertility in the first half of the month, because there's other things that you need to sew up. And I happen to put this on the Tower card. So there are things that you have to walk away from. And part of that could be a bad relationship that you're in, that the last thing you need to do in this situation is get pregnant. It not only is it the last thing, it is the worst thing, because the relationship that I'm talking about for this person is not going to continue. And you're really kind of wishy-washy on it. You know, half of you, the logical side is like, God, I gotta leave. But the stubborn side of you is like, you know, fuck it. I don't want to have to start over again. Honey, in this case, do it. Start over again. And you know what, that's for relationships in general. So I'm doing the pregnancy, the children, and relationships in one fell swoop. You need to walk away from this old relationship before you get into another. Give yourself time to be the Hermit, withdraw a little bit, and get rid of what you don't need before you start looking at the Lovers. Now, for new positions, not too shabby. If you're looking to think about starting a new job, you got the Queen of Wands upright. You got the Hierophant upright, which is, to me, I don't really like the Hierophant that much, but in this deck it doesn't look that bad. And you have the King of Coins in the upright position. So, if you are thinking about going for a managerial position, I think you kind of got it in the bag. It looks good. For those of you that are looking to start something that is a little bit better, that might have a boss that you get along with better than what you're doing now, that actually looks positive as well. For those of you that are established, it does look like you need to ask your boss for a raise. It looks positive. Even if you can't get a big monetary raise, I do. Now, this is a mixed bag because I do see you moving up in the company, and it might give you more responsibility. The money might not be exactly what you want it to be, but it does look better. And if you have new ideas that you can promote, now's a good time to get them out there, because I believe that your higher-ups will be well received towards that, and it could end up being a decent bonus. Health-wise, from everything I've seen thus far, well, it doesn't look that terrible. Now, you do have the sun in the reverse position. You have the 9 of coins in the upright, and you have the 10 of swords in reverse, which is not a bad thing. Health looks fairly good. If you know you have an issue, like I know I have skin cancer, and I've been putting it off, and it's doubled in size in the last week, so I've got to go take care of this. For you, don't put off what you know is going on. I don't see any bad things starting, but go and take care of these things that you know you need to take care of. And I think I covered everything for Gemini. Doesn't look bad, but just remember, you got the Tower card and you got the High Priestess, so you may have some changing spirituality thoughts, but I really feel in the long run it's going to cause it to strengthen. And don't ignore the Tower. These things you know you need to take care of, do it. You'll be glad that you did that. And for the last one, I'm doing Cancer. My husband is a Cancer, and he is a classic Cancer. He's very home-oriented, and where Deja and I, when we have a problem, I know for myself, I am, for most of it. My mom always says I ignore the elephant in the room, and it really depends on what the elephant is. But for the most part, if I feel like I'm being treated unfairly, or if I feel like someone's doing me or someone else wrong, I am all over that shit. My husband handles things a little bit more diplomatically than I do, and he really does go around things to attack it like a crab. The only time I've ever seen him really, well, he's getting a little bit more boisterous in his old age and older age, but we knew someone who had brought a pedophile over, or he wasn't a pedophile, but he did look at child porn, and the friend kind of knew that, and I was going to go take care of it, but Bill said, no, you stay here, let me. And I must admit, I was impressed, but that was 15 years ago. But like I said, he is getting more boisterous in his old age. So, you Cancers out there, oh, what a surprise. Everything is in reverse so far. Oh, not the Fool. Oh, not everything but the Fool. You have got the Ace of Wands, reverse. You have got the Page of Cups, reverse. You've got the Queen of Swords. Survey says, reversed. You do have the Fool in the upright position. It's about right. And you have the King of Swords in the reverse position. Okay. And it really, this is classic Cancer. You all have, Cancers are water signs. But he is really close to Gemini, so, I mean, he can have some of those Gemini actions. But really, when a Cancer thinks about things, and when you guys are considering ideas, it really takes you a while to mull things over, even longer to act on them. And with the Cups, really, when you do decide to act, you all are very watery and emotional when it comes to it. And that is going to be no different for you the first half of this year, especially with the Queen and the King of Swords in reverse. However, with the Fool, you will be starting some new junctures, and that's actually good. And I'm hoping this works for my husband, because we're both planning on writing books. Well, I'm planning on him writing a book, so I'm going to have to ride him like a horse. But it does seem like you are going to have some really new things to start, new ventures. But don't let the King and Queen of Swords overshadow that, because it is on either side of that. So to get these things rolling, you're going to have to act on this. But, you know, really, it looks like a complete, total Cancerian first half of the year. Now, are there going to be children? You got the 10 coins upright. So it's not like you haven't been preparing for this moment, but you have the 3 of Swords in reverse. That's not a terrible thing, though. And you have the 7 of Swords in the upright position. Here's a couple of things I'm looking at on this one. You might get a couple of false starts, because you're going to want this, and you are going to take every sign as you're being pregnant. You're going to have a couple of, like I said, false starts. But for those of you that are going to fertility clinics to get this done, Sweet Pea, you are looking at 2 or more. So make sure that you are ready for that, because you could have 2 to possibly 3. Now, this is what I'm seeing, though, for somebody out there who is going to be pregnant with twins. I do see, or triplets. I see the possibility of a loss of one of them. So I do see twins, but it looks like either you are going to not carry the third one, or the third one just isn't going to develop completely. But I mean, you will be happy with what you got. So don't overthink it. It you know, it's sad, but it is. You still have a lot to be thankful for. Health-wise, fitty here. You got the 9 of Wands in reverse. You've got the King of Coins upright, and you have the 6 of Cups in reverse. And part of this, for some of you, I'm looking at fertility, health. Some of you, you're going to get pregnant, but you're going to have to be on bed rest. It's going to be a difficult ride for you. And for another couple of you, as Cancers, you do kind of tend to put things off when it comes to health. Go get that checkup. Go do these things that you've been putting off. Just do some preventive maintenance and you're going to be fine. I don't see any really hardcore issues as far as health goes. As for new jobs, okay, not bad, not bad, and not bad. You've got the Knight of Wands in the upright position. That is really, for a Cancer, you're a go-getter. You've got the Hierophant in the upright position, and you have the 2 of Wands in the upright position. So all the way around, it looks quite positive for getting new employment and getting that job that you're looking for, and even one that you're not looking for kind of being thrown in your lap. And like I said, for Cancer, you really are kind of a a bit of an extrovert, and Cancers have a tendency to be introverts. As for taking a position in managerial, sorry, we had a bit of technical difficulties, so I'm going to go over job placement, and then I'm going to relay the cards that I had laid for relationships. Like I said, we have the Knight of Wands upright, which is a good card. We have the Hierophant upright, and we have the Two of Wands upright. All positive cards. It looks to me that you're going to get that position that you're going for. As a Cancer, this is kind of unusual for a Cancer, but you are more of a bit of a go-getter, some of you out there. And like I said a minute ago, if you're going to take a job in a managerial position, make sure you know that it is not always a strong point, because you want to be everybody's friend and you want to kind of keep the peace, and sometimes you can't do that because sometimes you gotta be a jerk. But also know that you are going to get along with your boss just fine if you are going for a new position, because you do tend to sometimes be a people pleaser. So that can be a good thing, but it can also be negative. So be careful with that. And the cards that I had laid before were the Two of Cups in the upright position, the Lovers in the negative position, and the One of Swords in the negative position. And this is what I'm seeing for this. For some of you, for me especially, my husband and I are total opposite. I'm an extrovert. He's an introvert. I'm outgoing. He's kind of quiet. And we're opposites, but we attract and have sometimes, as far as Cancers go, opposites do attract, and that can be a good thing. But for the rest of it, some of you guys are just letting a bad relationship go because you don't want to cause waves, and you don't want to actually, you just don't want to deal with it. And in this situation, you gotta deal with it. You gotta go ahead and end this so you can get this new good relationship that will be coming in. And also, if another thing that Cancers seem to have trouble for in a relationship is you guys are not good at dialogue, particularly. You're not good at the communication. So that is something that you need to work on in your relationship. I mean, I carry on elaborate conversations with my husband, but they're mostly to myself. I know he hears me, but he never gives me the kind of response I'm looking for usually. And that is something I had to get used to. So be a little bit better as far as communications go. Overall, doesn't look too shabby. Just take care of business and don't put it off. This has been Raven with Twisted Sisters Mojo. Hit that like and subscribe button. We appreciate it when you do. And we'll see you next time.